You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Right now at 7, distracted driving is dangerous driving. KOAM's Melissa Alexis shows us just how dangerous distracted driving can be. Also, Liberty Utility customers are expressing frustration over the company's new billing system.
Plus, we have rain showers currently happening, heat moving into the area, and another round of severe storms later on this evening.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney, 7 o'clock this Thursday morning.
Yes, and it feels like summer out there.
Oh yeah, when I woke up it was hot, muggy. It was 2 in the morning. It shouldn't be that hot.
I agree with you. I agree with you. It's so funny. Like, I feel like growing up, I never paid attention to the weather, and now I'm like always on top of it because I have to talk to you all about it. And so it's like, okay, I'm prepared for this, but it's still shocking when you walk outside.
Informed. People are like, oh, it's nice day today. I'm like, yeah, you want to know why? Or we've got rain coming up. Like, I am nerding out about the weather all the time.
Absolutely. Well, with summer temperatures comes also dangerous driving because we're currently in a time period when traffic-related deaths involving teen drivers tends to increase.
KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more.
This at the car speed.
Year after year, the stretch of time between Memorial Day and Labor Day tends to see a spike in traffic-related fatalities, especially involving teen drivers.
New drivers' inexperience compiled with just the increased number of distractions.
To combat dangerous driving situations, the Pittsburgh Police Department partners with KDOT.
It's focused on traffic enforcement measures. So we have You Drink, You Drive, You Lose that starts on the 17th and runs a couple of weeks. It's focused mainly on driving under the influence and things of that nature, but obviously any other offenses are still on the table.
He recommends to avoid the risk of a fatal accident, buckle up and avoid being distracted by your phone.
Wearing your seatbelt could turn something that may be tragic into something that's just a fender bender or just a minor injury.
John Barcelona is the owner of Barcelona Driving School and says the issues that contribute to fatal crashes, like speeding, texting, and driving under the influence, can be combated by parents leading by example and enforcing the restrictions on their child's driver's license.
So the parenting skills comes in and says, I'd rather tell you no and have tears here than say yes and have tears at the hospital because I said go.
According to AAA, teen drivers are 3 times more likely than adults to be involved in a fatal car crash. More than 7 people per day die in crashes during those most dangerous 100 days. People like Officer Bowman and Instructor Barcelona hope raising awareness will help reduce those numbers. Reporting in Pittsburgh, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Well, AAA says that a 16 or 17-year-old's risk of death per mile increases 44% when one passenger younger than 21 is in the car. The risk doubles when there are 2 passengers younger than 21 in the car.
Wow. I mean, I know when I was in high school learning to drive, I definitely was not as safe as I should have been.
Yeah, you're distracted, especially like when you're with your friends, or you feel like, I finally got the keys, I'm like the king of the world. And so it's definitely important to remind your kids as well.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, safe driving's the best. I love safe driving now that I'm grown, like that. Now, we also have rain showers, which is pretty bad driving conditions too, but rain moving into the Joplin area. So we'll go ahead and take a look outside right now and we can see those rain showers moving into downtown Joplin just in time for everyone's morning commute. Luckily, we're not looking at a severe threat this morning, just some rain showers, maybe even a little thunder, a little lightning, but outside of that, it starts to clear out in the next hour or 2. Temperatures are going to drop after the showers pass, but right now out in Joplin, 75, Miami 76, 74 in Grove. And you can see where that line of storms already have passed, and the temperatures in the northwest a lot cooler in the lower 70s. Unfortunately, it doesn't stay cooler. Temperatures really increase pretty quickly as we move later into the day. Heat advisories continue until the evening for our central and southern counties. South of Chanute, south of Pittsburgh, heat indices getting up to about 110 degrees. Now, rain showers are going to cool us off, unfortunately going to add to that humidity, increasing the heat index for the day. But as they pass, You might hear some thunder. You might see some lightning. Outside of that, not a big severe threat. Not until later on this evening. We've got a secondary round of storms moving in after 5 p.m. today. So we've got that level 2 out of 5 risk. That's a slight risk. And one of our first slight risks for the summer. So we're starting to enter into those storm season again. But most of the storms are going to be south of Pittsburgh, near I-44 and south. Like I said, that slight risk. Main threats, hail, winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour, and they're going to continue until about midnight before clearing out. Now, we've got another couple of storms possible later in the weekend. I'll have more details coming up.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. We'll see you soon. Well, yesterday was day 2 in the murder trial of Dawn Wynn, who prosecutors say shot and killed her husband, Harold Wynn, in November of 2021. Authorities say Wynn shot her husband while he was sleeping in a fifth-wheel camper. She was arrested not long after and bonded out to live with her mother in Pea Ridge, Arkansas, while awaiting trial. But in August of 2022, she wrote a suicide note and ran away. She was found in Indiana 6 months later and now stands trial, facing charges of first-degree murder and armed criminal action. The trial is expected to last one more day. You can get the latest updates on the trial on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. A 15-year-old teenage boy was pulled from the Elk River late Wednesday afternoon. The boy had no pulse when first responders arrived. An AED was used to restart his pulse. He was then life-flighted to an Arkansas hospital. It's unknown how long the teen was in the water. His current condition is unknown. You can stay up to date on this story on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The Frontenac Fire Department receives more than 2,300 cans of emergency drinking water. The donation stems from a partnership between National Volunteer Fire Council, Anheuser-Busch, and Eagle Beverage. Now, this donation is a part of a nationwide effort by Anheuser-Busch to provide critical supplies to departments with limited resources. With the summer heat, water and cooling resources are crucial for the first responders.
We're a combination department, which means I'm paid and I have 3 part-time guys, but the other 24 are strictly volunteers. No pay, do this for free out of the, community service in their heart.
The Neosho Township Fire Department and Galesburg Volunteer Fire Department also received a donation of emergency water this past week. Well, some Liberty Utilities customers in the Joplin area say they're frustrated after experiencing issues with a billing system which was implemented in April. Customers are complaining about receiving wrong billing amounts, struggles to make payments online, or not receiving bills at all. Some Liberty Utilities customers say they've even received unexpected shutoff notices.
It's concerning because I do not like being late with my bills. I just do not like that. I've never been that way. And I always pay them on time when they get here in time.
In a statement to KOAM, a spokesperson for Liberty Utilities says a limited number of customers have been impacted by data issues related to the billing system transition. They say they will work with customers to provide additional time to pay past and current bills during this time. And the company says they will also waive late fees and suspend service disconnections for those experiencing delayed billing. They add that the company saw an unexpected delay in mailing bills at the end of July, but it was not related to the new billing system. And those are our top news stories. Coming up this half hour, the Little Balkans Festival Association is ready for this year's celebration. We'll hear about what you can expect when you attend this year's festivities. And later, an Arizona man is recovering after falling 700 feet while climbing in Oregon. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look of the Interstate Fairgrounds in Coffeyville, Kansas. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Now, the Little Balkans Days is guaranteed to be fun for everyone. We have Angela Meyer, one of the organizers, with us this morning to share what's all in store for this year's celebrations. Welcome to you. Thank you so much for being with us. So talk to me about all the festivities for this year and a little bit of the history as well.
So this is our 39th year. We kick off August the 26th. We'll run through September the 1st. We have 10 passport events, which you can purchase a passport for $5, get you into the entire festival. Tons of live music, tons of vendors. I think right now we have over 100 vendors slated to come on Saturday. We have the pep rally with Paint the Town Red and members only Friday night. We have cooking school and pasta school on Monday and Wednesday. The Quilt Guild teaches a class on Tuesday evenings, and then Thursday night is our second annual Night at the Friendly Tavern, which is a really great night of living history with a lot of local celebrities that talk about growing up in Pittsburgh and their lives in Pittsburgh and what town was like in the years past. So it's a really good event.
Absolutely. And it's such, it's such a fun and welcome time. I mean, the Pittsburgh community absolutely loves this time of year. So talk to me, for those who might not know, just some of the history behind the events as well.
So it started planning in 1984. First festival was in 1985. So next year will be our big 40th celebration.
Fun, yes.
We're already kind of kicking around ideas for that, but it's grown. It's had an ebb and flow like every event does. But we are, the last couple of years since COVID, we started with a full week. So we really try to offer something for everybody. So we have historical events, educational things, just fun, great live music, a lot of local live music. We're very proud of that. So if you can't find something on this slate of events, I'm not sure how to help, because we really try to make sure there's something for the kids with the fishing derby on Sunday, and we have a great night of local music on Sunday night at the Band Dome.
Absolutely, well said. And now a little bit more about these passports. Where can people purchase these? And also just talk to me a little bit more about the passport events versus the free events.
Sure. So our passports are $5. When the festival started, they had buttons, and they were huge and really cool, kind of works of art of their own. Then they evolved to metal lapel pins. So now we have a passport because it fits in your wallet, super easy, more environmental friendly, I guess. So we have 10 passport events. The passports are $5. That gets you into everything. The cooking school and pasta school does have a small additional charge just because of food costs going up. And then the train tickets, which train rides are sold out. Sorry about that. There is a wait list, but those are a separate purchase. Everything else is either free or you can have the passport. If you go to 4 passport events and get your passport marked off, you can drop it back off in all the places that you can purchase a passport. Enter into a drawing to either win $500 in cash or $100 from the Pittsburgh Area Chamber.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Well, exciting as always. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll, of course, have all this information on our website later on this morning, KOAMnewsnow.com. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Well, you can see those rain showers out in 7th and Range Line moving into Joplin, still outside of it. Not looking at a severe threat, but going to get some rain, which just adds to the humidity later in the day. So we still have those heat advisories continuing for our central and southern counties. So south of Chanute, south of Pittsburgh, Girard, and continuing till about 9 p.m. this evening. So we've got these rain showers now starting to push into the Joplin metro, just south of Pittsburgh. A little bit heavier rain now moving into near Miami, so farther southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma. Then rain showers continue for the next hour or so before clearing out. We've got a little bit of a break later on this morning and early afternoon before more clouds and more rain start to push in. So clouds clear a little bit after 8 a.m. as we're seeing the rain clearing out. Temperatures getting up to about 90 degrees by noon, so we're really warming up. It's still an alert day set for the heat today, with temperatures getting into the upper 90s and heat index even higher than that. So across the region, 97 out in Pittsburgh today, 98 Independence, Parsons, Oswego, 101 in Grove, 100 in Veneta, 100 in Sedan. So a lot of our counties getting into the upper 90s and possibly even reaching 100 degrees. Now, heat indices getting up to 110 Miami, 111 Grove, 108 in Joplin. Little bit cooler in the northern counties, but mostly high heat, high humidity for the rest of the day. Then we start to see those isolated storms popping up later on this evening, with temperatures only dropping down to the mid 70s. So it's going to be pretty hot, pretty muggy all day long and all night long. Then those rainstorms start to push in. Some could be strong, even low and severe. All right, so we're seeing that those storms moving in a little after 5 p.m. and continuing until just about midnight before clearing out. And then we've got another round of storms moving in tomorrow evening and early Saturday morning. So we've got an elevated risk today for severe storms. Most of the storms likely going to stay around Pittsburgh and south, so along I-44 and south. And then tomorrow we've got a low risk. Now, I'm going to keep an eye on this because we could see that risk start to move up into a level 2 out of 5 risk, like a slight risk like we're seeing today, just due to the storms that I'm seeing on the future track. But we're going to focus on today. Elevated risk for hail and winds. Hail getting up to about quarter size and wind gusts getting up to about 60 miles per hour. We're not seeing a tornado threat now east of Springfield but we're going to stay pretty clear. So we're starting to see clear skies for most of the day, and then a few showers and storms popping up along the boundary around 5 p.m. But most of the stronger storms holding off until later in the evening around 8 p.m. You can see one strong storm near Joplin, even just east, and then maybe an isolated storm popping up near Parsons and moving into the Pittsburgh area. So this is about 10:30 p.m. tonight. And then still an isolated storm or two around the Joplin metro, so along I-44 and south. So we're seeing about 2 or 3 isolated storms popping up around the area. Like I said, Pittsburgh and south. And then we're moving into tomorrow evening where we're seeing another possible severe threat for storms, isolated storms today and tomorrow. So that alert day set today for heat, and then we've got those strong storms later on this evening. That's still going to keep us pretty warm, but tomorrow the secondary boundary that we're seeing is a little bit of a colder front, so we're seeing a drop in temperatures for the weekend. But we'll be back with more news, weather, and sports after this.
A Scottsdale, Arizona man is in recovery after falling 700 feet from Mount Hood in Oregon this summer. The man said he made a goal to climb all the highest points in every state when he turned 50 years old.
Brenda Lepinski has an update on his recovery.
The 55-year-old spent 4 days in the ICU back in July after falling from Mount Hood in Oregon.
I mean, this doesn't happen to everybody. All the doctors, well, most of the doctors that I talked to, my friends, my family, everyone was using the word miracle. Like I'm some kind of miracle for having survived this fall, which maybe I am.
The Oregon National Guard was able to perform a hot landing to rescue, something Chris says he doesn't remember much of.
I thought, this might sound kind of silly, but at some point I thought I was abducted by aliens and I was being, asked, because I was being asked the same questions over and over again, which I guess they do with head trauma.
This is a scar from the...
He sustained a number of injuries, but that was the least of his worries.
When I was laying in the hospital, my concern was for my family, because I can't imagine what they were going through. Hearing this news, my wife gets this phone call in the morning that I fell off this mountain, and I just can't imagine what she was feeling.
Laurie, his wife, says her husband was unrecognizable.
And his eyes were swollen shut. He had 2 broken orbitals. Eye sockets were broken. His nose was broken in 2 places. He had 2 brain bleeds and a concussion.
Chris and Laurie say they never lost hope.
I mean, I was putting goals on myself as I was laying in the hospital room. I'm going to be discharged on Monday. I'm going to be walking on this day. I'm going to be getting up and doing this on this day. And these things all happened, and I just don't give up. I mean, your body is strong enough to endure.
He could have been brain dead. He could have been paralyzed. He could have been, amnesia. All different things could have happened that didn't, and I praise God for that every day.
Certainly an incredible miracle, really, that he survived that fall.
Yes.
Wishing the best recovery. It's just, it's crazy when you're doing something that you love and something that you, set your mind to go and, challenge yourself to climb all these mountains, and you get a pretty big setback like this. It's really sad, but it's great to see that he's pulled through.
It is fantastic to see that.
Well, coming up, a Joplin program aims to bring awareness of a new teen driver to parents and teenagers.
And we've got storms still moving in, plus rise in temperatures and a secondary round of possible severe storms later on this evening. We'll be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:30. I'm Elise Noe. The Joplin History and Mineral Museum has a program specifically for keeping teen drivers safe. First Impact is a free 60 to 90-minute program designed to introduce teens and their parents to the risks new teen drivers face. The program also provides parents with the tools to monitor, coach, and support their teen drivers.
Trying to get them on the road, it helps decrease their anxiety because they can talk about things. They are on the same page. They know what's expected of them. They're not going in blindly trying to figure out, well, what are they going to be doing whenever they go behind the wheel and I'm not there to help guide them.
Well, parents who'd like to sign up their teen drivers for First Impact can go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com, where we provided a link to the information. Well, a Joplin school graduate donated 7 day and play boards to improve communication at parks. The communication board has pictures of different actions and park objects. Anyone who is learning or struggles with talking can point at the pictures on the board. Shayla Gould donated the boards to 4 different towns across southwest Missouri. She says everyone wants to get their point across efficiently when communicating.
Sometimes we struggle to get our points across, but everybody understands pictures, everybody understands symbols. It makes a lot of sense. Even small children can understand what's going on, and so it's just going to better allow us to get our wants, needs, and feelings across to others.
Donating the Say and Play boards completed Shayla's Girl Scout Gold Award project. Well, it's the dog days of summer, and the Pittsburgh Aquatic Center took that to heart with a dog swim. Folks were able to bring their furry friends for one last swim this season. From 5:30 to 6:30, dogs under 40 pounds were able to doggy paddle around. Then the hour after that was for bigger dogs. This is the 14th year the Aquatic Center has hosted a dog swim to end the season. Well, if your family is looking for something to do this week and weekend, the city of Pineville wants to remind you the annual Jesse James Days kicked off yesterday. This year, the annual event will feature a carnival with 11 rides, live music every night, a parade, a chicken dinner, a pageant, and so much more. Pre-sale armbands have sold out, but visitors can still purchase them when you make it to the carnival. Jesse James Days runs through Saturday. Now here's Lindsay with a quick look at your forecast.
Well, taking a look at downtown Joplin, you can see the rain showers starting to push in. Not going to continue for much longer, though. They are starting to dissipate, and you can see temperatures behind the rain showers pretty cool in the low 70s, but ahead of the showers, still in the mid to upper 70s. So we see a little bit of a dip in temperatures before they start to warm right back up for the evening time. Still, heat advisories continue for the evening. Central counties and south of Schnute, south of Pittsburgh, we see heat index values getting up to 110 degrees in some areas. So it's still going to be pretty hot and humid, and the rain is not helping with that. After rain clears out, and we see all of the rain that's on the ground evaporate, humidity really just drives up. So as this rain shower starts to push in, you can see the line of storms making its way towards the Joplin metro. It's now just south of Pittsburgh, and now I can hear some thunder outside, and it's going to start to move into Miami, Grove, Joplin, like I said, in the next hour or so before clearing out. Then we're looking at a pretty decent day. Unfortunately, later on this evening, though, we do have another round of storms, a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather. It's going to be our first severe weather of the summer. We're not looking at a major threat, just wind gusts up to about 60 miles per hour and hail quarter sized. Now, we're really focused on timing a little bit after 5 p.m., so 5 p.m. till about midnight before clearing out. Only looking at an isolated storm or two this evening, but like I said, some could be strong to severe. Now, we'll have more coming up.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Inflation may be slowing down, but prices at your grocery store are not. Ain't that the truth? We'll see if there is any sign of relief coming. We'll be right back, but before we head to break, here's a live look from the Interstate Fair in Coffeyville, Kansas. In Consumer Watch this morning, a drop in inflation levels could also mean lower Social Security adjustments. The Senior Citizens League projects the 2025 Social Security cost of living adjustment will be 2.57%, which would be the lowest adjustment since 2021. The advocacy groups and calculation is determined by the current inflation rate, which slowed to its lowest jump since March of 2021 to 2.9%. The estimated adjustment could bump up the monthly benefit by about $49. One U.S. committee fines T-Mobile millions of dollars over alleged unauthorized data access. Yesterday, the Committee on Foreign Investment in the U.S. issued its largest penalty ever to T-Mobile. The committee says the cellular company will have to pay $60 million in fines for failing to prevent and report prohibited access to sensitive user data. The penalty is linked to violations of a mitigation agreement that was a part of T-Mobile's $23 billion purchase of Sprint in 2020. Well, Vice President Kamala Harris is planning to propose a ban on price gouging for food and groceries. In an upcoming campaign speech, Harris's campaign team says the vice president will call for a federal ban on the corporate practice during a speech on her planned economic agenda on Friday today. The campaign says Harris will reveal a plan to prevent businesses from unfairly raising food costs. The growth of inflation slows, but today's CPI report is a tough report card on the pain most Americans are feeling. Fox Business correspondent Jerry Willis has the details.
Higher prices are still stalking Americans, but there's progress. The Consumer Price Index rose 0.2% in July. For the year ending in July, the CPI nudged under 3% for the first time since March of 2021. The core annual reading, excluding food and energy, was up 3.2%, also the tamest inflation in 3 years.
I know that there's some subtlety to the report, the details, the fact that there's still a lot of pain out there for consumers, and the market's trying to sort that out. But the headline number is pretty darn good.
But prices at the store are still going up, just not as fast, and Americans are still feeling it.
I feel like everything that you purchase at the store now has gone up substantially.
The cost of food rose 0.2 in July, including a 0.1% increase in groceries.
Prices aren't going to go down. Inflation is coming down. Prices are going up. And I think that's very hard to digest.
All told, the CPI report shows inflation is loosening its stranglehold on the economy, though prices still remain above the Fed's 2% target. The slightly softer than expected report comes as Fed policymakers contemplate when to start cutting interest rates amid signs the economy is cooling.
That's the big question the Fed's wrestling with, is where are we going?
Fed Chair Jerome Powell has said a September reduction is, quote, on the table. In New York, Jerry Willis, Fox Business.
And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Well, on 7th range line, you can start to see some of the rain showers pushing in. They're getting closer. We're not looking at a severe threat this morning, but you might hear some thunder, see some lightning out there. After the rain clears out, evaporates, humidity just really drives up the heat index for the day. So we're still seeing heat advisories continuing for our central and southern counties. So Chanute, Pittsburgh, and South. Heat index getting up to about 110 as a max today. It's going to be pretty hot, pretty muggy, especially after all of the rain showers clear out, which you can start to see them starting to die down, but we still have that nice line of storms now moving south of Pittsburgh, heading into Joplin, Miami, even Grove, Going to get some rain. Luckily, they do clear out. We're going to have a pretty decent looking morning and early afternoon. It's going to clear out. We're going to have some sunny skies. Unfortunately, temperatures just warm right back up, though, to about 90 degrees by noon. Like I said, though, it's going to be sunny. We do have an alert day set due to the heat, so high temperatures getting into the upper 90s, and even in some areas possibly reaching about 100 degrees. Now, heat index is going to get up to almost 110 in some areas, 108 out in Joplin, 109 in Pittsburgh, 110 in Miami, 113 in Bonita. So this is the actual temperature with the humidity adding together gives us that heat index for the day. So we do still see the heat advisories due to the high heat index for the day. Temperatures only dropping down to mid to upper 70s for our overnight lows, so we're really not cooling off much in the evening time. We also have a few isolated storms later on this evening, and some could be strong to even low and severe. So we've got those rain showers pushing in later on this evening, after now looking like it's going to hold off until about 7 p.m., and then we start to see isolated showers and possible scattered thunderstorms. Those are going to continue, and then we also have another round of storms again Friday night. We're only looking at an elevated risk today, so a level 2 out of 5 risk for most of our counties, and tomorrow only a low risk. We're going to keep an eye on that low risk tomorrow because we could expect to see maybe it strengthen a little bit as we get into the later hours today or early hours tomorrow. But today is what we're really going to focus on: hail and wind threats, elevated risk, hail up to quarter size and winds gusting up to about 60 to 70 miles per hour. All right, so we clear out around 9 to 10 a.m. Few clouds still hanging around. Then we get into about 5:30. We see an isolated shower or two start to pop up. But main threat for those storms holding off until about 8 p.m. And see a couple isolated storms popping up along the boundary. And like I said, really not getting any further north than Pittsburgh, even into the evening time. So you can see a few isolated storms popping up, mostly near Joplin, so along I-44 and south, and then even possibly getting up to as north as Pittsburgh. So this is going to be about 10:30, and then they clear out just before midnight. Now moving ahead to tomorrow afternoon, we've got a few more rain showers pushing in. Another boundary is going to make its way into our area, dropping temperatures just a couple of degrees, but it'll be a little bit cooler this weekend after these storms pass. You can see a few more isolated storms popping up tomorrow afternoon as well. So today we've got an alert day set due to the high heat, not the storms, just the heat. But we do have that slight risk for storms later on this evening. And then tomorrow, another round of isolated storms, hopefully going to drop those temperatures a few degrees for the weekend. Now we'll be back with more after this.
A shop located in Salt Lake City since 1972 is the oldest violin making school in the country.
Fox's Mark Blaine has more on the music coming out of the shop.
I think most of us in the industry aspire to being a master violinist.
I'm Mark Blaine at downtown Salt Lake City. Did you know the city is home to a world-renowned violin making school? Who knew? It's right here on the southeast corner of 200 South and 300 East.
There's some mystery about violin makers, like how they even do that.
Well, that's where the owner-director of the Violin Making School of America, Sung Hoon Lee, comes in. A former student himself at the school, he left his home country of Korea to study the violin-making craft under the legendary Peter Prier, who founded the school in 1972. Lee says the school's reputation attracts students from all walks of life, and no music experience is required.
It is not necessary you have to know something about violin making or music theory or performance, anything at all. We can teach you how to become a violin maker.
The school's program is normally 3 years. Eunice Refsko of Denmark is a third-year student and gets the Career Change Award. He holds a PhD in nuclear physics and was working at a nuclear physics lab in Vancouver when he decided during the pandemic that he needed to chase his true passion.
I think when I was a teenager, I think the idea of becoming a violin maker had sort of popped into my mind, but I sort of rejected it because, I don't know, like it wasn't serious enough or something. Like I felt I had to be like an academic. But then I sort of resurfaced and I thought, okay.
And part of the curriculum, if students don't already know, they're offered lessons on how to actually play the instrument. Attention to detail and concentration are some of the traits needed to become a top-notch violin maker. And the process can be rewarding in some unexpected ways.
A lot of the steps are very meditative. It's like you're just looking at something and comparing and just making very intentional moves with what you're doing. So I just find a kind of peace in doing that.
And on that note, Eunice, play us out.
Well, how cool. You know, lots of history there, I'm sure, but and what talented people to be able to make and play the violin. It's always impressive.
I could never. I mean, I learned piano when I was a kid, but my skills are not up to par like they are.
Great to see.
Well, we've got some rain showers in the area. We've got storms continuing for the next hour or so, and then later on this evening, a second round of storms popping up in the evening time. Most threats will just remain hail, wind, and heavy rain. Hail and wind, elevated risk, so we've got hail up to quarter size and winds gusting up to about 60 miles per hour. So it's going to be our first severe storm possibility for the summertime. And we've also got heat continuing for the day ahead of the rain. So after storms clear out this morning, temperatures getting into the upper 90s with heat index values getting into the triple digits. So we've got a lot going on today. Storms in the morning, heat in the mid-afternoon, and more storms later on this evening. You can check back in later on today for more updates.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines. The news you need to know before you head out the door. The murder trial of Dawn Wynn, who prosecutors say shot and killed her husband, Harold Wynn, closed on its second day yesterday. Authorities say Wynn shot her husband while he was sleeping in a fifth-wheel camper. The trial is expected to last one day more, and you can get the latest updates on the trial on our website. That's KOAMNewsNow.com. Some Liberty Utilities customers in the Joplin area say they're frustrated after experiencing issues with a billing system which was implemented in April. Customers are complaining about receiving wrong billing amounts, struggles to make payments online, or not receiving bills at all. A statement from Liberty Utilities says they are working to resolve the issue. Well, the Frontenac Fire Department received more than 2,300 cans of emergency drinking water. The donation stems from a partnership between the National Volunteer Fire Council, Anheuser-Busch, and Eagle Beverage. The donation is a part of a nationwide effort by Anheuser-Busch to provide critical supplies to departments with limited resources.
And we have an alert day set today due to the high heat, high humidity, so high heat index values, plus a slight risk, which is a level 2 out of 5 risk for storms later on this evening. It's going to keep the temperatures high through Friday. Then we've got another round of storms Friday afternoon into the evening as well. Likely going to drop the temperatures for the weekend just a few degrees back to about average for this time of year.
All righty. Well, a spectacular meteor shower dazzled in the night sky overnight in Bosnia on Monday. Due to the clear skies and hot weather in Bosnia, the annual Perseid meteor shower, active since July, was able to be seen clearly from one of the mountaintops in the country.
The Perseid meteor showers can be seen from high mountaintops in Bosnia, usually from places that are over 2,000 meters above sea level.
Pretty impressive there. What a sight to see.
Unfortunately, in our area, we had cloudy weather, stormy weather all weekend long. It was a bit of a disappointment. I think we couldn't really see any of the meteor showers.
Right. Maybe one day. Maybe one
Definitely,
day we'll get
maybe
something
one
like
day. Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.